Yeah, I have a completely different interpretation because, okay, so after about a month or so, you start realizing, wow, I haven't had to think about money. I haven't had to think about food. I haven't had to think about what I'm going to wear Friday or calling this girl back or, oh, my car broke down or paying or gas prices. Holy cow, gas prices at that time were like $4.50 and I don't even have to pay them. And I'm like, you know, and you don't drive a car for 4 months. So there's so much that you realize it's just gone. It's like that weight on your shoulders just, you know, some people have, you know, wives and kids, so it's a little harder for them. They still got to pay bills. For me, I shut everything off. No insurance, no cell phone. You know, the little bit of money I did have to pay, I paid up front, and then I went there, and so no thought about money, and it was like, wow, I'm like more free. I'm in Iraq. I'm living in this, you know, 1 mile by 1 mile radius. I only see work, the gym, in my trailer, and I'm more free. And somehow, 14 hours a day of work with no time, you know, normally it's like 8 hours a day of work and a weekend, right? That's how normal people operate. Well, now I'm 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have time to read all of a sudden for the first time because all the noise, all the distractions, the cell phone, text messaging, the emails just goes away. And if I don't want to check my email today because I'm in my own negative space and I don't want to reply like, oh, it sucks over here and I'm miserable and it's hot and it's 130 degrees, and it's like, I just don't respond to people, and they understand because I'm at war. I can't respond all the time. So it's like, it was like this amazing experience and this awareness that I started to come up with that, oh, wait a minute, it's like a vacation here. And everyone else is like hiding. They're like on their emails, they're buying all these video games. I mean, I was like, okay, you know, what do I need? Okay, I bought like a coffee once a week, or I didn't spend any money, and so I was like making more than I ever had in my life, and spending less than I ever had in my life, and growing more than I ever had in my life, and it just became this cycle. And with the 130-degree temperatures, you're sweating, you're drinking. I started keeping the lids of the waters. I was drinking 13 liters of water a day, and I'm working out at the gym, and so you just become a machine. And there's no alcohol, there's no, you know, I was smoking cigarettes a little bit, but I quit there, and like, so I just like, man, I just exploded into this like better, bigger, stronger, smarter, growth, more loving, more caring person.
It's such a trip to hear you say that, because it's really almost the opposite of what I've heard
from everyone else. Yeah, that's because they're trying to escape. They're miserable, missing, you know, oh, I didn't get to go to the football game, I didn't get to play video games, or I missed the movies, or blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there like, oh wow, oh my God, all I have to do is be present in the moment and my life is better. Wow, oh my gosh, let me practice. So, you know, I start like eating food, and every time I eat a bite, I'd be like, okay, I want you to go to my, you know, my heart because I'm feeling like sad, and okay, now I'm eating this bite and I need energy, so this bite, I imagine it turning it into energy, and then like, oh God, my feet are hurting so bad, so I'd eat some more and I'd be going to my feet, or I'm working real hard on my biceps, so okay, now it's gonna go to my biceps, or whatever I focused on. I started realizing that that's what I'm getting. So I'd take a shower and I'd be like really hurting, and I just like put this, I'd imagine healing my body with every touch, sending love into it. And I didn't know any of this stuff then. I just started doing it, and it was like working. I was like actually getting results from just being present.
Well, you know what's so cool about this, and I hope all my clients from the last 7 years are watching this show, because it sounds like to me, you use a couple of things I talk about all the time. The imagination, which that's it. I mean, whatever you're imagining is what you're getting, so that's perfect. And the deliberate thought, I love that you were really intentional about your thought. I'm going to eat this food and it's going to go here, it's going to do this. And just telling your body, you know, I always tell people your body is just waiting for instruction, you know.
Yeah.
And so you were intentional, gave instructions, and the evidence was that it was working.
Yeah.
So
I did better at my job there than I ever did, and I had all my supervision finally liking me because they didn't care what I talked about. Like my second tour, they just cared my performance. And so the second time I came there, I was fired up, ready to go. I know my job, and I just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And in between working, I'd read, and then I'd go back to working, and then my plane was the best. It was the cleanest. I would just if there's nothing to do, I'd clean my plane instead of going on the internet or doing video games or watching a movie. So I got out right before I had to go to Afghanistan. So I'm really happy because I didn't want to go to Afghanistan at all.
yeah, well, it sounds like you did your time and did it well. So congratulations.
Thank you. High five.
So now to the good part. You've been kind of working with your mind, playing with your imagination, intentional thought, being really present. I know you said you read Eckhart Tolle's Be Here Now, and you know that was a great book.
Celestine Prophecy
Yeah.
was huge for me. That was my second tour. That book really excelled me because it was someone else saying all the things that I had come to think and believe and hope that the world was
true.
like. And it was like this awesome adventure novel, and it was like all real.
Yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah.
So so you come home now from your second little retreat over there
with a medal this time, an achievement medal.
Excellent. Yeah, another high five.
High five, yeah.
Cool.
Got my honorable discharge. Got out, and took this big road trip home, and just struggling, flopping around, didn't know what to do. My friends all seemed to turn against me. My best friend stole from me on the way out the door, and I was just like, ugh. What now? Like, I thought I was creating this whole new world and all this positivity, and it's just been negative since I've been getting out. And what? I need an answer, and I got answers.
So what was your solution?
Well, I went and saw my good friend Mark Perry, who was always like a mentor to me, and he was a hypnotherapist, and I never really asked him questions about it because I never thought about it, and I needed a session. I was like, just because we did some on anger when I was a kid, so I was like, let's just do a session on all this stuff going on, help me realign what I need to do. And so we did a session, and before that though, I was on his radio show, A Matter of the Mind, on 1260 AM. So I did this thing about consciousness in Iraq, kind of like the stuff we're talking about now. And so my dad met this girl on New Year's Eve at Canyon Road, and her name is Kathy Callanan, a famous photographer in Santa Fe. And she had a friend coming from Massachusetts to go to this class. I guess the school, the Hypnotherapy Academy of America, is the best in the world. So she gave me the pamphlet, and 4 days before the class started, I just started looking through it, and I was like, oh my God, they actually have scientific backing to everything that I've come to think is real. It's like science behind Celestine Prophecy, in essence, or behind The Secret, or behind manifesting, or behind energy and how it works, and the law of attraction. I was just like, wow. And so I talked to Mark about, I want to do this. I wasn't really telling him I want to do it because it was like $8,000, and I was just more like, I'm so excited that there's a science behind it. And he's like, yeah, that's the school I taught at it. What? Oh my gosh, tell me more. So he's like, why don't you just go and talk to them? They have some military people got to go through the GI Bill or vocational rehab. So I'm like, okay. And Tim wasn't there. Tim Zimmerman's the director. And Aaliyah and Barbara there, and Aaliyah talked to me, and I told her about Kathy Callanan. I told her about Mark Perry. She was like, wow, this is really, this guy needs to be here. And so Aaliyah thought the same thing, called Tim, and while she's talking to them, Kathy didn't even know I was going or anything, calls to make a donation for me. And so then clicks over to Tim, he's like, okay, that's a sign, send him in. And it was the best thing I've ever done for myself, or I think anyone could do for themselves. I think it's like the first time I've ever watched healing occur in front of me in such a powerful and direct and rapid and amazing way. I mean, you see the transformation from someone just being sexually abused or hit by their family, and they're just like screaming, there's like, ah, and all of a sudden their face changes and the light comes, and they're like, they come out of hypnosis and they're like, oh my God, my life is so great. You see how all these limiting beliefs have just made every single day of your life harder because of this ideas that you hold and are attracting, and I'm stupid and I'm unlovable, and and then all of a sudden you realize that you made those ideas when you were 4, and that helped you to get through a couple years of your life, and now they're just helping you create sadness and attract, negativity. And oh wait, all I had to do is give the child some love, and then grow it up. Like imagine all my memories now are filled with love, and I come out, I'm already lovable.